Clean. Distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tampa, Florida on a gorgeous evening for outdoor soccer. The temperature in the 70s, no wind to speak of. Kevin Slayton alongside Bill McDermott. Glad you're with us for the Collegiate All-Star Game, the Senior Bowl tonight. And, Bill, the West traditionally has the edge, and tonight they have the dominant side.
They really do have a strong team, Kevin. As you mentioned, they have a dominance, 7-5, not a major dominance to speak of, which gives you an idea of the parity of the talent in intercollegiate soccer. But tonight, they're so strong, all the way from goalkeeping up to their forward line.
And you will see what has been termed the best soccer player in America this year. He will be on the field tonight. Amir Ali from the University of Columbia for the East Side.
Very talented player. He's the emblematic best player in collegiate soccer, if you will. He won the Robert R. Herman Trophy. He's played for the Pan American team, the Olympic development team, the national side. Very skilled player.
For those of you who may have witnessed the national championship game a week ago between Indiana and Clemson, some of the Clemson people are here, and of course their strong defensive player, Ontarubio, is here, a 4-time All-ACC performer and a 3-time All-American.
You better believe he's here. If there's a Senior Bowl and he's a senior, he's going to be in it. Abdubari Ontarubio, very strong, hard tackler, but also gets involved in the attack.
Most people that follow outdoor soccer, indoor soccer as well, will tell you most of the players are short. But we have a player who might be a candidate for the NBA, Sean Burke, for the West Side, 6'6" in goal tonight.
And not too many goals are scored against a player who's 6'6". Due testimony of that fact is, for his career, he's got a 0.60 goals against average. He's a very strong player. He played his collegiate soccer at the University of Akron.
Bill, All-Star games tend to bring out some individual skills. Is that something to look for tonight as opposed to the teamwork that we normally see?
Oh, I think you might see a little bit of flair and fashion from some of the players on 1-2s and give and goes and things of that nature. But overall, you almost had to do this game yourself tonight. I got out in the field. I wanted to strap my shoes back on.
All right, the Adidas Budweiser Senior Soccer Bowl next right here on Sports Time.
This Bud's for everyone who scrapes it, sprays it, and lays it on smooth.
This Bud's for you, for all you do.
We'll start it out of Santa Clara University. A lot of schools represented tonight. Only the University of Connecticut with 2 players in the game. And there is the opposing goalkeeper for the East squad, Jim Leahy out of Brandeis University, just 5'11", and he will be in the nets, and it will be a formidable task for him, Bill, if things get going here in the West's favor, that he will have to keep them out of the cage, and it's going to be a task for him all night long. Right off the bat, the East controlling, and now the West taking possession near midfield. A very dominant squad, this West team. A lot of high-powered offense, and I think that's where they have the advantage more than anything, is the front line. They've got some forwards that are used to putting the ball in the net, whereas the East, they'll have to do it with a lot of team effort, and they don't have the individual skills, I don't think, up front that the West has.
They don't, Kevin, and Coach Martin told us before the game that they can't get in a real running match forward-wise. They don't have the power up front on the forward line. They're more gifted in the back and at midfield.
You saw Amir Ali. He wears number 4 in red, and he is the Herman Trophy winner, the collegiate soccer equivalent of the Heisman Trophy. And there he is, heading the ball forward for the East, but it goes over the sideline, and it will belong to the West. But keep an eye on Amir Ali, because he's one of the more gifted players out of Columbia University in his hometown of Brooklyn, New York. The long throw-in from Rob Moreland, and the West trying to control at midfield, but the first whistle of the game, and it goes against the West, so the East controls with David Macer out of Rutgers University. Coming to the near side, his pass ahead for Aiden McCluskey, and he will see a lot of action tonight. Eric Myron trying to cross it, and the first shot of the game is wide of the mark from Brian Vernon out of the University of Virginia. Good season for the Cavaliers down in Virginia, and here's another look.
Here's the play developing again, Kevin. Eric Myron, as you mentioned, on the left wing. This is a good through ball to the near post, and Brian Vernon there ran into it very nicely. Number 10, Brian Vernon, he played at the University of Virginia, had 18 goals this year. That's a very, very formidable senior year for Brian Vernon. He plays very nicely along with Jeff Gaffney and George Gelnovich for that Virginia squad.
Well, you probably won't see a better opportunity wasted than you saw on the very first opportunity for the East, because Vernon, who was a pretty accurate shooter, getting in behind the defense, getting a good pass, and still not quite balancing himself right in order to get a good, effective shot off.
It was a good ball by Eric Myron, too, Kevin. He had some space. He just laid it off into the opening so that his teammate could run onto it. Good work by the East.
McCluskey for the East to midfield. And the first call goes against the West here, and that is a tripping violation. Whistle against Ogadegby out of Alabama A&M University. Fine midfielder for Alabama A&M. Boy, they've been a power the last few years.
Always in the South, Kevin. They perennially have battles with Clemson in that South District of the NCAA.
David Macer with a long looping pass ahead. Downfield for Myron, giving chase, but he can't get to it. It rolls over the end line, and it belongs to the West. So Myron, with a full-length sprint, just couldn't quite catch up with that long pass, and another dangerous opportunity for the East, Bill. I'm a little surprised.
It was. They flooded it behind the backs, Kevin. That was the key there. Then you saw the job of the sweeper, number 2, Adebari Otorobio. He came back and immediately swept up play. That's the definition of a sweeper. Anything that gets through the last line of defense, you come back and either play it back to your keeper or receive it and start the defense again.
So the West now in possession with Otorobio and his cross-field pass as the West trying to penetrate forward. Rob Moreland out of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas with a long left-wing pass, and here they come. Boy, this is a talented unit. Fernandez trying to chip it in for DiBernardo, but he passed it behind him, and it will belong to the East. Koch flipping it outside to the near side. Aiden McCluskey, Farley Dickinson University. You won't hear much about that school, but McCluskey, one of the best players that ever came out of that university.
He's an All-American, Kevin, the team captain. Last 3 years, he's from Ireland, and as I mentioned, right when we got started, Coach Martin wants him to be one of the players to slow the pace down. You saw him when he got the ball from the keeper. He immediately slowed down the pace, waited for some players to run into openings. Need somebody who could show some composure and some calmness.
If it gets into a sprint end-to-end, Bill, can the East stay with the West?
That might be a difficult task, but they really have some really all-out sprinters who can really run onto some through balls. That's, again, what Coach Martin wants to prevent against. The long, slided through balls into open spaces where these talented players from the West run out of midfield and off the wing.
Otorobio with a careless mistake, and it belongs to the East, and very quickly they put it inside to Vernon. And the East trying to give and go, but a whistle goes against the West, so the East will control deep in the West territory. And from the opening whistle, the East has had the better of the play, and that was not expected by most observers taking a look at both rosters coming into tonight's action. Ali will be the trigger man for the East, or so it appears. We'll wait and see. He wears number 4 in the red, the Herman Trophy winner.
There you see Aiden McCluskey standing behind the free kick alongside Brian Vernon. There's number 4, Amir Ali. See what they do with the set piece, Kevin. Number 6, Aiden McCluskey standing alongside.
Ali will indeed be the trigger man now. He runs past, and here they come with a shot by Vernon, blocked by DiBernardo, and here he comes back for the West. Little Paul DiBernardo out of Indiana University, the runners-up after winning the national championship twice consecutively. Here's up Kodu. A fine defensive maneuver on the side of the East from Leslie Farr, and it will control to the East.
DiBernardo, Kevin, so instrumental in that Indiana squad the last 4 years. As a matter of fact, he scored a splendid equalizing goal. Free kick set up by John Stolmeyer to draw Indiana level. And I thought at that time they might have got back into the game, but Clemson eventually emerged victorious.
Sean Fryatt with a pass outside for Kieran Coffey. Now he headmans it upfield. And the West controls at midfield. Now they lose it momentarily to Ali, but the West able to regroup. Now they lose it back again. The East taking control once more, but it's intercepted by Rawoski on the far side, and his pass for Okpoto is too far. Leslie Farr for the East controlling. And they bring it to the near side. A difficult maneuver there for David Macer, but he holds it in. Back again to Leslie Farr out of West Virginia Wesleyan, playing for his head coach tonight, as he did all year long. The West controlling momentarily with Okpoto, now Radwinski. And here comes the West. Good rush for them, one of the few they've had in the opening moments of this game. Long cross by Radwinski for Fernandez. Nice pass back for DiBernardo, but he couldn't hold on to it. And here comes the East out of their own end with Eric Myron again. Ahead for Vernon, but he's tangled and DiBernardo takes it away. And the obstruction goes against the West.
Good play by the left midfielder for the West squad, Kevin. Ed Radwinski really doing a nice job of starting the attack.
Sean Fryatt with a long ball. It's headed across to the side, but Radwinski again outside for Fernandez, but he can't save it. So it will belong to the East on the west side of midfield. And very quickly, the East in possession with Aiden McCluskey. McCluskey and Ali will take control for this East squad.
Real nice change of play there by number 6, Aiden McCluskey.
Omer Breton losing control. It belongs to the West. A player slipping on the far side, and it still belongs to the West. So they got to break theirs. Miller slipped down, but they maintain possession.
Hey, Kevin, in the old days, the northeast and the midwestern sections of the country were the real strongholds in intercollegiate soccer. Now the South and far west have really caught up, and there's overall parity in intercollegiate soccer talent-wise.
The interesting thing, and there's talk about it changing next year, is that the South and the Southeast belonging to the Western side this year, and that certainly gives them an overwhelming favorite when they get the Atlantic Coast Conference players in that side. And I think next year, I think common sense will prevail, and they'll be back in the East where they belong.
It would only seem to be logical.
For a Clemson player to be playing on the West team in an all-star game just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Koch with the free kick now. He booms it about 45 yards downfield, and the West intercepting. But it's controlled again by the East. And they've had the better of the possession. Here's a long ball downfield for Myron. Myron has to hurry. DiBernardo chasing him. Around DiBernardo. Myron with a cross in front of the goal, and a fine defensive play as Koch got up high.
Good work there by the University of Connecticut senior Eric Myron to run onto it and cross it. He would have liked to keep it a bit farther away from the keeper, but nonetheless a good run by Eric Myron.
Okpoto now for the West. A fine pass from Miller on the left wing, but it's knocked away over there by Kieran Coffey. And the East controls in their own end. He sends it back for Jim Leahy, the Brandeis University goalkeeper.
There you saw some good understanding, Kevin, between Sam Okpoto and Pat Miller, the striker from UCLA. Okpoto holding the ball just long enough so that Miller can make his run into the open space. You don't have to be together for 3 or 4 months at a time to know that when your teammate has the ball, holds it, he draws defenders to him, then you run into the opening.
Amir Ali with a fine rush for the East, and it's knocked away. A fine defensive play by Otarubio. We're going to see a lot of that before the night's over, I guarantee you. Now, for the East, they control it again with McCluskey. A long pass headed out of there nicely. Moreland with the play, and the shot whistles wide.
Shot just wide there by number 16, Sean Fryatt.
Well, Bill, I'm impressed with the effort from the East from the outset of this game. They've maintained possession. They've had the better scoring opportunities. And I think the West a little bit shocked by it, too.
I think so, too, and they've become a little uncertain in the back, Kevin.
DiBernardo at midfield. Getting it ahead for Ogadegbe. Ogadegbe with a pass for Fernandez that goes too far, and is controlled again by the East and David Macer. A couple of close calls for the East where they've almost dented the nets of the West. I think a little bit pride at stake also for the East. They know they were beaten handily last year, although these players weren't there, but the East was beaten 4-0. Okpoto with a brilliant streak. Oh, is he quick? And Leslie Farr clears it out of there for the East for Ali at midfield, but that's too far. And it'll be controlled by Jeff Romano.
What a great run there by Sam Okpoto, Kevin. In that close, tight, confined quarters, he used his speed to get into some open space.
Macer gets it ahead for Brian Vernon, but he loses control momentarily to Moreland, and now Macer controls again for the East. He lays it off to McCluskey. His ball on the outside intercepted by Radwensky, and now the West will come back with it the other way with Alfonso Smith. He's the local favorite in the University of Tampa.
He's represented his country on numerous occasions, Kevin. Very talented player, rock-hard defender, and like all good defenders, can easily get involved in the attack.
Sam Okpoto giving chase, but it's knocked back nicely by Macer for Jim Leahy, and he rolls it out in a hurry. And here comes the East again to midfield. And they control it there with McCluskey. He loses it, though. Here's Okpoto. Look at the speed on Okpoto. Moving in along, the shot and a save. Now the rebound comes out, but Leslie Farr is there for the East. Okpoto had no one to mark him. He just raced in with a full sprint, and the shot probably, Bill, was not as good as he would have liked to have had. He hit it right at the keeper, Jim Leahy.
Here he is, Kevin. Lovely through ball. He runs onto it. He tried to beat the keeper at the far post. Nice save by the keeper, Jim Leahy. But a good run by Sam Okpoto. That sudden explosion, Kevin, off the dead ball situation, running onto it.
Okpoto very quick out of North Carolina State University. Now the East pressuring at the other end again. McCluskey does not win that ball, but the East controls anyway with David Macer out of Rutgers University. His long chip downfield intended for Isaacs. Isaacs sending it back outside for Myron. Myron inside for Vernon. Vernon making a couple of nice moves. Now he's taken down, and the trip will go against Ogadegbe of Alabama A&M.
Some nice understanding there between Brian Vernon and Eric Myron. They're doing a nice job of opening up for each other, and more importantly, Kevin, when one of them gets the ball, the other will show up for him, make himself available.
And although not quite as dangerous as you might be accustomed to in the indoor version of this game, this free ball, dead ball situation will be a very good opportunity for the East to score.
And one of the things that in an all-star game, Kevin, you'll see a team have a chance to work on are things exactly like this, dead ball situations. Let's see what develops.
Amir Ali, and it's deflected at the defense. Now the shot wide, and it's smothered by Koch. It was deflected by Pat Miller, number 12, for the West. And Ali had that ball circling its way. He bent it back toward the far post, Bill, and I'm not certain as to whether that might not have been in.
That's right, a good ball by Amir Ali. And you see, Kevin, the danger, even if you do have an effective wall set up, when you spin the ball like that, when you have a player who's good on dead ball situations, he can manipulate the ball to his liking. That's exactly what Amir Ali did on that play.
Leslie Farr now for the East as he comes to midfield. Gets it to Ali. Nice pass ahead to McCluskey. Radwensky on him. And McCluskey, it's knocked off the ball. Al Smith. And here comes the West back with Ogadegbe. The pass outside nearly stolen, but DiBernardo back for the West, and he simply sends it back to his keeper, Eric Koch.
DiBernardo, the man who really made the Indiana attack tick, Kevin. And we saw a couple times Indiana had to play without Paul DiBernardo, and they were a different squad.
He's just a little guy, but I'm telling you, he's a big one in terms of goal scoring and making an offense go, and you'll see a lot more of him tonight before this match is over. Here's David Fernandez for the West. A nice run, slowed down by Myron, but Al Smith comes away with it for the West. Okpoto inside, but Leslie Farr is there. He looked for Radwensky, moving up from the midfield, but he couldn't quite get it to him.
Good attempt, nonetheless, on the attack by the West. Good ball out of the back by Al Smith. Laid it off to Okpoto. He anticipated the return pass, but Okpoto, in turn, laid it off into the open space, hoping to find Radwensky.
Breton with a pass, and the shot is wide of the mark. A fine run by Brian Vernon. And Breton fed him beautifully, but the shot well wide of the goal mouth.
Good work by the East on the attack, done at high speed. That's one of the real areas you see a great deal of improvement in college players, Kevin. Things are done at top speed.
So it'll belong to the West. Octarrubio, one of the finest defensive players in the country this year. Headmans it forward for Smith. And here comes the West again. Here's Fernandez at midfield. David Fernandez out of St. Louis University. A long crossing pass, but that's going to be intercepted as the East doing a good job with Kieran Coffey. But Fernandez gets it back, slides it outside. It's intercepted, and the East controls once more with Sean Fryatt. Fryatt controlling it himself with lots of room near the midfield, and now he sends it outside, and here comes the East battling back. Kieran Coffey. Coffey with a pass ahead, but that's intercepted, and here comes the West with Radwinski.
Good job there by Radwinski, Kevin, to win the ball, then go to space.
A long pass ahead as the West with Miller. Nice run on the near side. Pat Miller looking to cross, and it's knocked away by Leslie Farr. We'll be back to Pepin Rouge Stadium in Tampa, Florida, right after this.
The NHL on Sports Time. Live Sunday night, the St. Louis Blues meet the New York Rangers. Center Bernie Federko continues to keep the Blues legitimate contenders. But with Pierre LaRouche leading the patrol, the Rangers can surprise anyone. Don't miss the excitement of National Hockey League action between the St. Louis Blues and the New York Rangers. Live Sunday night on Sports Time.
This is Sports Time. We're playing the games you don't want to miss. This is Sports Time. We're playing the games you don't want to miss. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
There you get a look at the goalkeeper. This is not a very good situation for a goalkeeper. The corner kick. Fernandez will take it for the West. Sends it out for Al Smith. Smith trying to cross it, but it's kicked out of there into heavy traffic when he tried to cross it, Bill, and possibly not the wisest move on his part.
Exactly right, Kevin. A more advisable ball on a particular play like that is to flat it to the far post. That's one of the reasons you attempt the sharp corner.
Vernon has it stolen away by Rob Moreland to the West. It goes over the sideline, but it will belong to the West. So a good opportunity for the West that was kind of wasted. They didn't even test Jim Leahy in goal. Miller now for the West. He's got Fernandez all alone on the right side. He shoots and he hits it wide. But look at Fernandez in the lower corner of your picture. He was unmarked. He raced in alone. But of course, that's difficult for Miller to know.
You see number 6, David Fernandez, with another corner kick. Let's see what the West squad uses on this free kick. Now, here's Pat Miller, far UCLA, going right at his last defender. He slips in the process. Now here's an attempted shot by Miller. Just goes past that far post, but effectively cutting off the angle was the keeper, Jim Leahy.
So Fernandez with a long bending ball, and it's headed out of there by Leslie Farr, and it goes over the sideline, belongs to the West. They haven't done much with their last 2 corner kicks. Here's Al Smith now for the West. Same situation he had a moment ago. Now he takes on the defender and beats him. The cross in front is headed out by Leslie Farr.
A tremendous run out of the back by Al Smith, University of Tampa. Good stuff. Went right at that last defender, Kevin. Similar to indoor soccer. Outdoors, exactly the same. When you have a chance to go one-on-one, never hesitate to take on that last defender.
The Adidas Budweiser Senior Soccer Bowl. We're glad to bring it to you here on Sports Time. Perfect weather here in Tampa, Florida this evening. It was sunshiny, about 80 degrees today. No wind whatsoever here in the stadium this evening. Perfect field conditions.
Absolutely a superb field, Kevin, here at the University of Tampa. Not exactly a new stadium, but it's been refurbished. The refurbishing took place about 3 years ago.
Isaacs now for the East. He gets it across field for Breton. The West taking it back with Moreland once more. Otarubio out of his own end for Fernandez as the West pushes forward now. Here's DiBernardo making a run on the right side. The pass deflected. He still gets it back to Smith. Alfonso Smith from Tampa takes on the defender and beats him. Gets it ahead for Ogadegbe. Ogadegbe on the side. The cross in front, but nobody's home. And that was a golden opportunity as Okpodu sent it across, but nobody was there, Bill.
Excellent understanding there, Kevin, between Nathaniel Ogadegbe and Sam Okpodu. Again, doing some nice work in some tight situations. Good interchanging and running over the ball and things of that nature. But the cross, there was no target man available.
All of the scouts from the MISL on hand here tonight. They're trying to see the best in collegiate talent and see with whom they would like to team up with for next year. Ali knocked down, and the foul will go against Otarubio, and Ali is not in very good shape. It looked like he took it around the knee. Amir Ali, here's a guy who at Columbia University, pre-med was not challenging enough, Bill.
No, he said, well, I need something else. I'm going to go into the nuclear thermodynamics or chemistry or something of that nature. Pre-med just isn't challenging enough.
That is the premier scholar athlete right there in your picture, number 4 in red, Amir Ali, the Herman Trophy winner. And every bit the student athlete. McCluskey to be the trigger man for Ali. Ali chipping it to the far post, headed out of there by Fernandez. But the East controls it. Knocked back in and again bumped out of there by Moreland. He's still battling for control, and they do indeed control it on the far side with Friett. But he loses it to Radwinski. And Moreland now comes back for the West. Rob Moreland. Each team with a couple of good scoring opportunities in the first half. 24.5 minutes remaining, but nobody can dent the nets, and that's not usual for a Senior Bowl game. Normally we have a lot of scoring, if not by both sides, at least by one. Last year 4-0. There have been some high-scoring games. There have been a couple decided by shootouts, but normally you see the ball in the net. Moreland's pass behind Miller, but Fernandez finds connections with it. Here is DiBernardo all alone, and the crossing pass just couldn't get through the last defender, David Macer. Otherwise, DiBernardo was in alone.
But as the game progresses, Kevin, you see the West squad really picking up the pace of their attack, and the players starting to get more accustomed to each other, running into some open spaces and some nice interchange, in particular on the right wing out here between Okpodu and his other teammate on the right side. Very nice work.
Macer for the East with a run. DiBernardo chasing him. His pass ahead is intercepted at the defense. Otarubio for DiBernardo now. Two players who battled each other long and hard all year long, and certainly in the national championship game, and now they're teammates, and that's the beauty of this game. It brings together the finest in collegiate soccer talent.
And both teams, Kevin, showing some composure and some calmness under pressure when they win the ball in the back. They don't find it automatically necessary to immediately go forward with the ball, and everything has to be quick. It doesn't have to be done that way in outdoor soccer. When you have some time, you can build up from the back.
23 minutes left in the first half. We're still scoreless. The East battling the West. Pass to midfield, knocked away by Ali. So Moreland will have the throw in for the West. Rob Moreland out of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Most people identify basketball or good entertainment with Las Vegas. Not collegiate soccer, but he certainly has put them on the map. The West with Jeff Romano and a long pass ahead for Miller, but Leslie Fry, they misplay it momentarily. And then Macer is able to knock it back to the goalkeeper, Jim Leahy, but he and Leslie Farr nearly missed connections, and no communication between the two nearly gave the West a golden opportunity.
That was a dangerous loose ball on the back, Kevin, but the proper thing done by number 14, David Macer, just knocked it back to his keeper. Then the keeper, Jim Leahy, nicely redistributed the ball, changed the flow, and started the attack again.
The East losing control, and the West comes out of there with Kelvin Jones and Jeff Romano. And it goes over the sideline and will belong to the East. Well, Bill, as we take a look at the West bench and the 4 players getting set to come in, I would suspect that the way this game has gone through the first 25 minutes has been a bit of a surprise. It is a very close game. Each team with good opportunities, and the West has not dominated like a lot thought they would.
No, they really haven't, and I'm sure their coach, Thomas Martin from the East, has to be happy, Kevin. This is the way he wanted the game to go.
McCluskey with a long long cross, and that brings Koch off his line to make the catch. And he does so in a hurry right in front of Jerry Isaacs out of the State University of New York at Albany. And Isaacs was knocking on the door.
He certainly was, Kevin. And a nicely flighted ball by McCluskey. He spun it with the inside of his left foot. He tried to keep it away from the keeper.
McCluskey has it again for the East. Iden McCluskey sending it across for Brian Vernon. Vernon chipping it ahead for Isaacs, and we've got a whistle, and we'll wait and see what the call is.
And Iden McCluskey doing exactly what his coach wanted him to, Kevin. Slowing down the play, redistributing the ball, changing the flow of the attack, and he's doing it very nicely.
Jay Miller, the coach of the West, the coach of the University of Tampa, runners-up in their championship playoff series this year. They won the title in '81. Here's a long pass headed across in the middle, and it's knocked away by Otorubio. Well, that may have saved the goal as Fernandez comes out for the West. That ball was in dangerous territory right in front of the goal, being headed back and forth, and Otorubio finally was able to clear it out of there.
And you notice the clearance by Otorubio, Kevin. He snapped that head and he cleared it. He made sure that he got the ball out of danger immediately.
Brian Vernon for McCluskey. McCluskey against DiBernardo, sends it inside, and now it's broken up by DiBernardo, and the West comes away with it, and Otorubio again. He's everywhere defensively for this West squad. His long pass along the near side for Miller goes over the sideline, and Fried will have the throw-in.
He wins the ball nicely in the back, Kevin. If there's one drawback to his play I can see, if there's anything that's a drawback to Otorubio's plays, those long flighted balls out of the back. Very difficult for a striker to run under those balls when you have a defender right on your back. A much better ball out of the back is a low, hard pass at a striker's feet, or better yet, to an attacking midfielder.
The West with 19.5 minutes left in the first half. Otorubio bringing it out. And there is Al Smith. Boy, they like him here in Tampa. He sends it ahead for Ogadegbe. Ogadegbe with a lot of room. Sends it ahead for Radwinski, and on goal, and a fine defensive play from Leahy as he came rushing out of there.
Here's how your attack can be so much better, Kevin. I was just mentioning it. You build up from the back, give it to your midfielder right here. This man, number 4, Nathaniel Ogadegbe. He immediately starts the attack. Here's a splendid through ball into the open space on Eddie Radwinski's protected side, and a good save by the keeper, Jim Leahy, to immediately come off the line. That's great work. Build up in the back, lay it off to your midfielder. He makes the run, starts the attack, and furnishes the through ball for your forwards.
McCluskey leaving it in the backfield, and now the East moving out of their own end with Macer. Here is Leslie Farr for the East. Amir Ali gets it ahead, and here comes the East again. McCluskey has it intercepted by Radwinski, but Ali wins it back, only to have Al Smith take it away. On the far side for Ogadegbe. The West battling Okpodu. Okpodu on the far side, trying to cross it for Radwinski again. Just a little bit too far, and Leahy again slides out. Radwinski closing in on goal each of the last 2 opportunities, but both times just a little too far. Here's McCluskey the other way. Iden McCluskey with a drive, but it's blocked at the defense by Otorubio. And now Okpodu comes back for the West. Great action, Bill.
Very much so, Kevin. I'm really impressed by this Division III midfielder, Eddie Radwinski from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. Really does a lot of work, gets through a lot of work at midfield. Good defensive midfielder. He can run onto balls. He's very quick.
DiBernardo's pass intercepted by McCluskey. Vernon now taps it ahead for Eric Myron. And the East with Vernon. He loses it momentarily, but has to hustle back to get it, and DiBernardo takes him down.
Here's the coach of the West squad,
Tom Martin. They won the title this year. He looks a bit concerned, not real happy. He was telling us that it's been such a great week to get to know these kids. He's heard a lot about them, read a lot about them, seen them play, but hasn't coached them. That was his lasting memory of this week of the Senior Bowl, is the relationship between his Eastern Division squad. Look at the run by Otorubio out of his own end. Sending it ahead for Okpodu on the far side. Okpodu crossing. Oh, Fernandez was waiting, but Leahy intercepted it.
Good play by Jim Leahy. Come off his line and make the save, but that run there by Otorubio, Kevin, a sweeper back, that's the play to make Franz Beckenbauer internationally famous. Sweep up in the back, and then pick and choose your runs in the back. When you have a chance to go forward, don't hesitate to do so. And he blasted out of the back, didn't he?
What a streak he is when he has the ball. You think defensively when you think of him, but as you saw a moment ago, he can make your offense come to life. Al Smith for Radwinski. He's easy to spot with that blonde head of hair that he has. You'd think he was from California. Not so. From the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. Still scoreless with 16.5 minutes left in the first half of this Adidas Budweiser Soccer Senior Bowl. McCluskey's pass intercepted by Rob Moreland.
Very rare giveaway by number 6, Aiden McCluskey on that particular play.
Yeah, that was indeed a giveaway because nobody was over there. I'm sure that he thought someone was making a run. Turned blind to make the pass. DiBernardo now out of Indiana with a lot of room. He chips it ahead. Here is the West trying to move in with Fernandez, but it's knocked away. Now a long shot goes high and over the glass by Akpodu. And with 15:48 left in the first half, we'll be back. We're scoreless.
This is today's Chevrolet.
This is exciting.
The new front drive Celebrity Eurosport. Special F41 sport suspension straightens out curves in a car that looks as special as it feels.
Move into more celebrity. Eurosport, a touch of Europe at a Chevrolet price.
That's a great touch.
That's today's Chevrolet.
We are back here at Pepin Rood Stadium on the campus of the University of Tampa. Kevin Slayton and Bill McDermott proud to bring you the Adidas Budweiser College Soccer Senior Bowl. The All-Stars, the best of the East against the best of the West. A couple of substitutions. Terry Blanson, right in your picture, number 14 for the West, is now in there, as is Bill Stallings. So those are the first substitutions of the game. McCluskey and Ali teaming at midfield. You can bet you'll see a lot of them all night long. They may not come out of the game. Radwanski intercepting for the West, and as Bill mentioned a little while ago, he's done a very good job getting it ahead for Akpodu. Sam Akpodu crossing it, but it's intercepted, and now the East coming away with it, and that is Omer Breton getting it ahead. Here comes the East, the long lead pass out of their own zone for Gil Monteiro. Monteiro in the corner, trying to cross it. Intercepted by Blanson, and he taps it back to his keeper, Eric Koch.
Good job nonetheless, Kevin, but number 2, Gil Monteiro, just in the game, ran onto that long flighted ball very nicely, kept his composure, tried to knock it across the face of the goal.
Some of the greatest American players in the professional game coming out of this Senior Bowl in the past few years. And you'll see some more coming out of this one. A lot of these players looking forward to the professional draft. The MISL draft not going to take place until after the regular season and playoffs are concluded. So a lot of these players, this is their final chance to show their wares before the draft. Stallings heading it forward for Radwanski, and he loses control. Ali to midfield, but it's intercepted there by the West and Jeff Romano. And they still control it in midfield. Now they lose it momentarily. Al Smith has it for the West. He slides it ahead, but too far, intended for Ogedegbe. Great save on the near side by Rafferty, but it's knocked over the sideline, and Miller puts it into Blanson. Terry Blanson, you guessed it, he's from France. And there he is on the near side. Making a run, but Leslie Farr knocks it out of bounds.
That tackle meant business in the back by Leslie Farr, Kevin. Hard, rugged tackle. Came across from the center back position. Wanted no part of Terry Blanson with time out there in the right wing.
Again, a shot of the East bench. No score with 13 minutes left in the first half. Blanson with the throw-in. We have got a whistle and another substitution in for the West, as we see for the first time. Albert Haddadi out of Eastern Illinois is out there. And there he is in midfield with the interception, but he's called for the foul, and it belongs to the East.
Number 15, Albert Haddadi, as you mentioned, Kevin, for Eastern Illinois. Another very good defender who's also capable of going forward, contributing to the attack.
Myron with a long pass for Friat. Monterrubio just watches it go over the side. The West in control with 12.5 minutes in the first half of a scoreless duel. Rob Moreland with a long pass down the far side for Stallings. Leslie Farr all over him, and he knocks the SIU player to the turf.
What a tackle by number 17, Leslie Farr. Watch this again, Kevin. As Bill Stallings was setting up to place himself in position to receive the ball out of the back. Going over the top, number 17, Leslie Farr.
That's 2 minutes. Whew. Stallings just got into the game, and that's not a very nice welcome.
Welcome to the Senior Bowl. That's right.
The speedster out of SIU, and he can turn it on when he gets the ball. When do you see him streak down the field? There's a nice pass intended for McCluskey, but he misread his teammate Gil Montiero, and they could not make connections on the pass with 11:40 left in the first half. Again, Tom Martin in the east sideline. I would say they're well satisfied with the first half of play to this point.
Very much so, Kevin. It's scoreless with 11:26 remaining. Coach Tom Martin has to be very satisfied. He's not really getting caught up in a running match with these very talented and very fast West forwards. He doesn't want to really get caught up in a running match. He hasn't done so yet.
And the West has some speed out there now. Kodu, Stallings, and Miller up front. And boy, I'll tell you what, you don't want to get in a speeding race with those three, because any one of them will beat you if they spot you 20 yards. They'll catch you and lap you. Miller trying to leave it for Blanson, who's no slouch himself, but it was intercepted, and now Montiero giving chase, but Rubio will beat him to the ball, and he sends it up for Al Smith, who has some room. Very quickly, however, he gets it to Ogadegby. Back for Smith as the West pushes forward. Smith with a long ball for Radwanski. Leaves it across for Stallings in front, and Leahy comes out to knock it away. Well, again, that's the danger of that speed up front, as Stallings speeding ahead for that pass. A nice play by Radwanski to head it back far. The pass behind Radwanski.
Exactly, Kevin. Some beautiful stuff by the West. They're on the attack. Again, it all started in the back. Some nice build-up. Radwanski running onto it very nicely, trying to flick it back to Stallings. That was very nicely done.
Leahy came a good 15 yards out of his net as the West bench looks on some concern. Heavy favorites coming in. The West trying to gain possession. They do. Radwanski has it in a crowd, loses control, and a whistle, and it will go against the West. Belongs to the East. Under 10 minutes left in the first half. Jay Miller, the head coach of the West and of the University of Tampa, the host school, looking on here.
He's got a very respectable record, Kevin. Over 7 years of 100 wins, 22 losses, and 3 ties. That's not too bad.
Not shabby, is it?
Won the NCAA Division II championship in 1981.
And they were runners-up this past season. McCluskey loses it. Adati has it for the West, and he gets it back to the keeper, Koch. And Al Smith now moving out of his own end, but he leaves it for Adati. Albert Adati out of Eastern Illinois University. They went to the Final Four 2 years ago.
Some nice build-up here in the back, Kevin. While all this build-up is occurring, forwards up the field are running into open spaces.
Akpodu with a run, but he's run off the ball nicely. Good job that time by Coffey for the East. He kept Akpodu away from it, and the dangerous Sam Akpodu. You can't do much when you don't have it, and Coffey did a good job.
Good job by Coffey to stay goal side, Kevin, not allowing Akpodu to run onto the ball.
So the East hanging tough against the heavily favored West. With 8:45 remaining in the first half, we are scoreless from Pepin Rouge Stadium on the campus of the University of Tampa down here in southern Florida, and it is a gorgeous, gorgeous evening here in Tampa.
It is, Kevin. These seniors could, for all intents and purposes, run all night on this field. Lovely field, superb conditions.
Well, this is the opportunity of a lifetime for a lot of these guys as the whistle goes against the West. They've been out here all week. They've been wined and dined. They've enjoyed it. David Fernandez looking on, and they've had a good time. Of course, they didn't forget about the game to be played here tonight, but the weather has been ideal, cooperated with them fully, and it's just been a great experience for each one of these kids. McCluskey on the near side for Macer. Macer now with a long, high cross. This is a dangerous ball, but Koch high into the air, knocked into his own goal area by Tom Rafferty, but nonetheless, it is a good opportunity for Koch.
David Macer making the nice run, blindside run, away from the wall. Ide McCluskey gave him a nice ball. Just coming off his line to make the save was the keeper, Eric Kochin. Good play by Koch to make that save, because that's a difficult ball to handle, Kevin, when you're backing up off balance.
Here's Akpodu breaking through on the near side. Akpodu trying to cross it and keep it in play, but he sends it over the end line. 7:25 remaining first half. We're scoreless from Tampa.
Sports Time time goes to the hoop Friday night twice with live college basketball for the holidays, featuring the action of the Dayton Basketball Classic. Last year, the Flyers stunned LSU, Washington, and Oklahoma in the NCAA tournament. Friday night, the Flyer enthusiasm continues. First, St. Bonaventure takes on Air Force. Then, Dayton takes on Brown. The Dayton Basketball Classic, Friday night, live on Sports Time.
Back here in Tampa, Florida, Paul DiBernardo, the nearest to you on the West bench. The Budweiser Soccer Player of the Year in the NCAA collegiate ranks this year. He and his Indiana Hoosier teammates had a sensational season. Runners-up in the national title chase, only 2 losses all year. They were the 2-time defending national champs. McCluskey in ahead for Rafferty, but it's too far, and Koch chases over to run it down.
Nonetheless, the East attempting some nice through balls, Kevin. That's a way to get through this hard, rock-like defense of the West. Send through balls into the passing lanes, into the open spaces.
Otorubio now for the West, outside for Al Smith. Very confident player, Al Smith, out of the University of Tampa. He's always very smooth. Into the flow of the game. Exactly understands what he wants to do with it. Radwinski nearly losing control. Sends it on the outside. Rob Moreland passes ahead for Miller on the far side. Miller trying to cross, but Leahy is there for the save.
What you just mentioned, Kevin, is another area in which all college players have really showed some improvement. I mentioned earlier they've been doing things at top speed. They've shown a lot of improvement in that area. But another area, as you just mentioned, they have calm. They're composed now. They don't get all excited with the balls at their feet or when an opponent is right next to them. They show some composure.
Okpodu colliding with Leslie Farr. No whistle, and it belongs to the East.
Leslie Farr plays hard in the back, doesn't he?
Boy, he's brutal. And there's an errant pass that goes over the sideline, and I'm sure that David Macer did not like that. Radwinski, who's been all around the ball tonight. Here he is on the near side with a good run. Looking for the cross. Sends it goal side, and it is too far for Miller. Kept in by Moreland. Ogadegbe knocked off the ball, and I mean knocked off the ball.
Clearly a foul.
And the East clearing it out of there. But the West robbed of a foul opportunity. Al Smith with some room. Montiero comes over now. And here's Radwinski again, Bill. He's all around the play. Every place the ball is, he is there.
Kevin, he is clearly far and away the man of the match so far, in particular for the West on offense.
Always making himself available, always seeming to be in the right spot. And here comes the East back. There's the speed of Bill Stallings as he comes back to bother Sean Pride, who had a 2-step lead on him. On to Rubio, intercepting now for the West, and Al Smith again will bring it out of his own end. They like to play to the right side, a right-handed team, if you will.
And Otorubio, you saw again there, Kevin, won the ball in the back with some nice defense, kept his composure, then immediately laid it off to his right back, Al Smith, and started the attack.
Stallings finding Miller in front for Radwinski. He scores! Ed Radwinski has started with Stallings outside for Miller, and he crossed it for Radwinski.
Number 7, Eddie Radwanski runs onto it. As we were just talking about, Kevin, we're both prophets now. He's the man of the match so far, doing everything he's been called upon to do at midfield. And now he scores a goal. Great work by the West on the buildup. Here it is again. Developing from the left. Nicely flighted ball to the near post. Now flicking it away to the far post. That's beautiful stuff by the West. Number 7. Eddie Radwanski, assisted by number 12, Pat Miller from UCLA. Lovely goal by the West.
1-0, the West. A fine passing play started by Bill Stallings, outside for Miller, and then back in for Radwinski. They did it to perfection that time. And here they come back again with Okpodu on the near side, around Farr. Farr just pushes him off the ball, and it'll belong to the West. You just can't do that right in front of the official.
That's not going to work. Again, great attacking by the West, in particular on the right, Kevin, as you just pointed out. Sam Okpodu going right at that last defender, just putting it by him.
Bill Stallings shipping it for Radwinski again.
And literally, Eddie Radwanski there, Kevin, almost creating something out of absolutely nothing. Stallings flighting him to him at the near post. He made a diving attempt for a header.
Here comes the East again. Stallings intercepts at midfield to Blanson. Blanson ahead, and here's Ogadegbe. Now the West starting to show their true form with 3 minutes left in the half. Here's Radwanski inside again, leaves it for Okpotu, but he hit it high. Oh, Bill, I thought Radwanski may turn himself in firing.
Beautiful stuff by the West, Kevin. These three players on the right here, Okpotu, Smith, and Radwanski, look like they've been playing together all year long. Lovely ball laid off by Eddie Radwanski to the far post. Just getting over it a bit too high for Sam Okpotu, but nonetheless, great work, good attacking, some calmness, and some deadly speed when they start to attack and go at the goal mouth of the East.
The East now coming back. They trail 1-0.
The key to their attacking, Kevin, is that all the balls are laid off to their teammates' feet. That way they can run onto them.
There's a through ball for Okpotu, but he couldn't quite catch up with it. And had he caught up with that one, it would have been 2-0. Now the East just trying to get organized. Blanson pressuring very well, and it'll belong to the West as Macer could not control it.
Now the pressure coming from the West, Kevin, allowing the East no buildup whatsoever. They're not allowing to clear the ball to the back.
Haddadi for the West, leaving it for Blanson, and they miss connections. He and Ogadegby just didn't know where each other was going to go. Now Rafferty for the East at midfield. Rafferty with a run, but Haddadi knocks it away, and it's picked up by Ogadegby outside for Miller. Here they come again.
Look how Ogadegby immediately started that attack at midfield.
Miller crossing it for Stallings. Nice give and go, but it's broken up at the defense. Stallings and Miller, as if they'd played together throughout their careers, with a nice give and go on the far side, but Perugia broke it up.
The goal means so much, Kevin. Immediately adds to your confidence. You can start trying something different on the attack. And that's exactly what the West is doing now.
Aiden McCluskey with the ball. He and Ali have not taken a break. They've played it from start to the half here with just 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining in the first half, with the West out in front 1-0, although the scoreboard clock shows the East with the goal. Don't pay any attention to that, folks, if you happen to see it. McCluskey at midfield for the East, nearly stolen by Al Smith, gets it ahead. Perugia now for the East, moving around his man Moreland, but Moreland takes it away. Good job by Rob Moreland, but he lost it across the sideline.
Good job by Moreland, as you just mentioned, Kevin, to get back on defense. And a good run by Mike Perugia, went right at that last defender.
Haddadi leaving it for Ogadegby. Ogadegby now for the West, outside for Miller, who's come all the way across on the right-hand side. A long lead pass for Stallings. He'll catch up to that. Bill Stallings for the West. Looks for help. Gets it in front. The cross, and it's knocked out of there. Perugia again. And I'm not sure who it was. I believe it was Ogadegby. Maybe it was Okpotu, Bill, but he missed the header on the cross from Stallings, and that could have been another goal.
Daniel Ogadegby tried to flick it on at the near post, Kevin. He just couldn't quite make connections, as you just pointed out. But nonetheless, good attacking on his right flank by the West. They're deadly out here.
And it's a mismatch if you get a ball ahead for a guy like Stallings who can sprint to the ball and just outrun everybody. And there is the end of the first half, with the West out in front of the East, 1-0. We'll be back with more of the Senior Bowl from Tampa, Florida, right after this.
To everyone in the spotlight, before the show begins, this buzz for you.
This buzz for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. The way you do. So here's you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Showtime, Hey, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
Hey, man, nice job.
This Bud's for you.
This is Sports Time, Mid-America's Sports Network.
It's late. You're worried because your loved one has been driving all day to make it home by tonight. Your big concern, did he fall asleep while driving? Now ease your mind with a gift of the one and only Sleeper Beeper, an inexpensive microtechnology device that alerts a driver when he nods off to sleep. Sleeper Beeper is worn on the ear and sounds an alarm when the wearer's head nods past a certain point. When the alarm sounds, this should signal for him to stop and rest until he is alert enough to proceed safely. It's the perfect gift for your commuting college student, for those long holiday trips with the family, for your sportsman who gets up early for a long day, for the person who travels for a living. It's for anyone who must stay alert. Order today and receive a free handy holder. Fits anywhere to hold your beeper and remind you to drive safely.
To order now, use your credit card and call 1-800-554-3000 or send $19.95 plus $2.50 shipping and handling to Sleeper Beeper, Box 1555, Nashville, Tennessee. Another quality product from Direct Video Marketing, Nashville, Tennessee.
Back here at Pepin Rood Stadium at halftime on the campus of the University of Tampa, the Adidas Budweiser Collegiate Senior Soccer Bowl, 1-0, the West leading the East. That is not a surprise, but what has been a surprise thus far is the fact that the East has had a lot of, perhaps as many opportunities as the West has had, maybe more, but they haven't been able to score. But they have had a good amount of the play.
They have, Kevin. That's somewhat amazing, as you just pointed out. They've had some excellent chances to go forward, but when they've had a chance to go forward, the pass of just a hairline off. Our Otorobio in the back, the talented sweeper that he is, has been doing a nice job of sweeping up, but then redistributing the ball.
So many good opportunities for the West, and every time it seemed they had the ball and moved it forward, it was Eddie Redwensky who was around the ball, and he finally capitalized and got the goal. Started by Stallings, went it to the outside.
Let's watch the play develop again. Good ball by Bill Stallings right into the path of Pat Miller. He could first time this ball, Kevin. That's why it's so valuable. Now Radwinski runs at it, then flicks it back to the far post. That's beautiful stuff by the West. A nice understanding, starting in the back originally, then to Bill Stallings at midfield, then he laid it off to Pat Miller. Good ball across the face, and Eddie Radwinski, there he was, running onto the ball once again.
Well, he made no mistake with that ball. That's as good an outdoor goal as you'll see, and he put it, Bill, as you said, to the far side, which is difficult as he was heading for the near post. That's a hard shot.
Very much so. The defender was coming onto his back, Kevin. He ran at it and flicked it backwards with his head, beating the keeper in the process. But again, the key to the West buildup has been their ability to start the play in the back, give it to their attacking midfielders, and then start the play.
All right, we are at halftime of the Senior Bowl soccer game, and the West, with that goal that you saw by Redwensky, they lead the East 1-0. We'll be back with more after this.
It's a season of excitement. Major indoor soccer league action. Live Monday night, the Cleveland Force meets the Chicago Sting. Powerful Cleveland emits much of its force through Craig Allen, one of the league's scoring leaders. But the Sting can be even more dangerous, with 3 of the league's scoring leaders in its ranks. Don't miss the action when the Major Indoor Soccer League season of excitement continues with the Cleveland Force against the Chicago Sting. Live Monday night on Sports Time.
Hi, I'm John Riggins, and as much as I love playing football, my first love has always been the great outdoors. And the folks who publish Field and Stream, American sportsman's favorite magazine, know exactly how I feel. That's why I've been a loyal reader for years. Every issue is jam-packed with meat and potatoes articles on hunting and fishing, like the times of the year and the places that should be best in your area. And that's not all. You also get the inside information, tips and ideas on guns and fishing rods, bass and bull elk, ballistics, to the best way to bait a hook. You know, Field and Stream has been a leader in hunting and fishing since 1895. And they were working on clean air, open spaces, free wildlands, and unpolluted waters long before it was in to do so. Now you can have 12 issues of Field and Stream, a year's subscription for only $7.94. You can't buy Field and Stream at a lower price anywhere. Field and Stream is the hunting and fishing magazine for me, and it should be for you. Give it a try.
To subscribe to Field and Stream magazine, call toll-free 1-800-453-6606. That's 1-800-453-6606. You get 12 issues for only $7.94. That's a full year subscription, and you can't get Field and Stream at a lower price anywhere. So call now, 1-800-453-6606. 1-800-453-6606. That's 1-800-453-6606.
Back here at Pepin Root Stadium in Tampa, Florida, Kevin Slayton and Bill McDermott. It's halftime of the Adidas Budweiser Senior Soccer Bowl. And the West leads the East 1-0 on a goal by Eddie Radwinski late in the first half for the West. As we take a look at the tail of the tape from the first half. And as you can see, pretty much an evenly contested game. The corner kicks pretty even. And the fouls a little bit physical on the West side, but the shots, Bill, impressive for the East. They didn't think they'd be quite that equal to the West.
No, they didn't, Kevin, and I'm sure they're happy to be only down by 1 goal at halftime because they've had some opportunities to score. They've been doing some nice things, about a little bit more productive on the attack have the West been, though.
And, of course, the only one that counts is the one by Radwinski that went into the net. We're going to see in the second half a 6'6" goalkeeper for the West, and I imagine it'll get more difficult for the East to put it past Sean Burke.
Sean Burke from the University of Akron, as we mentioned at the top of the show, Kevin, a career goals against of 0.60. That's incredible.
All right, we'll be back with the start of the second half of the Senior Soccer Bowl right after this.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser. People who bring you Budweiser wish you and yours the very best of everything this holiday season.
If you're shopping for a car or a new VCR or any major purchase and don't have money to burn, call this toll-free number and let Consumer Reports help you get the best deal for your money. Call now for Consumer Reports 1985 Buying Guide issue free and get the money-saving facts on over 2,000 brand-name products. It's a gift with your paid subscription to Consumer Reports magazine. Look between the covers of each monthly issue and get a clear picture of which color TV edged out 16 popular brands, which fast foods were considered most nutritious, which cough remedy was judged unsafe by the FDA. Call now and get 11 regular issues of Consumer Reports plus 2 free gifts with your paid subscription. The 1985 Buying Guide issue and the Medicine Show. Plus, as part of your subscription, the 1986 Buying Guide issue when published. All for just $16.
Call toll-free 1-800-453-6606.
We are back here in Tampa, Florida. There is Sean Burke, number 1, as he bends over in your picture. Now you get a clear shot at him, and look at him closely. 6'6", 0.60 career goals against, 23 shutouts. This guy's devastating. If the East is going to get back into the game, they're going to have to earn it.
There's his counterpart on the other side, new keeper for the East in the second half from the University of Delaware, David Whitcraft. He's also a very good keeper, Kevin. He has 20 shutouts to his credit. That's a school record at the University of Delaware.
Sean Burke out of Akron University. Whitcraft out of the University of Delaware. Jay Miller, the head coach of the West, out of the host University of Tampa. 1-0, the West in the lead. Kevin Slayton and Bill McDermott, glad you could join us here on Sports Time for the 13th annual Adidas Budweiser Senior Soccer Bowl. The finest senior talent on display here in the United States. And the West in white, trimmed in black. The East in red, trimmed in white. And the West right away with Kelvin Jones in command. Here is Rob Moreland on the near side.
The diminutive Kelvin Jones, Kevin, the smallest man on the field from the University of South Florida. 5'2", 120.
Even Paul DiBernardo, who has the ball now, beats him by a landslide. He's 5'4". His long cross for Moreland, who has some empty room, and here he comes. He didn't waste any time at all. Moreland moving forward. A long pass in the middle for DiBernardo. He still has it. The little guy, 5'4". DiBernardo trying to slide it ahead to Bill Stallings. Can't do so. Now leaves it for Moreland. His cross is for Kelvin Jones. He leaves it back to Moreland. And DiBernardo available again. Radwinski in close, and there's the pass for Radwinski, broken up nicely by the East, and they control, coming out of there with Martin Hayes. Long pass to nobody in particular, and Otarubio comes away with it for the West.
Good work, Kevin, early on here in the second half by the left back. from the West, attacking very nicely. Rob Moreland, you mentioned the key. He saw the open space. He did not hesitate for a second. He immediately went forward. That's what really adds a new dimension to attacking soccer. The overlapping backs, as you look at Coach Tom Martin from the West Virginia Wesleyan. He won the NAIA championship this year. Excuse me, Bill. Sorry, he's got a very respectable record, too, in his 7 years at West Virginia Wesleyan. 93, 28, and 8. So two highly successful coaches here for the East and West squads.
What a thrill it must be to coach in this game, to see the best talent, have it at your own availability, and then send the boys out there to play and stay with them for the week and enjoy the different cultures, the different backgrounds of all of these players.
That's exactly right, Kevin. And as opposed to intercollegiate soccer when it got its beginning in 1959, the days are over when you just show up with the balls and put the players on the field. You have to have some tactical observations at your disposal. You have to change your game plan according to every opponent. Every opponent is far from being the same. Every opponent has different strengths and weaknesses, and you have to know your own team limitations. The coach really gets involved in tactics and game preparation.
Moreland for Blanson. That's intercepted, and here comes the East now. Here they come, pressing forward with Sean Fry. Radwanski there to intercept. If it's offense you want, he's there. If it's midfield play, he's there. And there you saw him show up on defense.
And a great job by Eddie Radwanski to get back on defense because the East was doing a nice job of attacking at top speed. But Radwanski, there he was again, Kevin, always around the ball.
Otorubio being bothered by Brian Vernon, and he finally circles around in front of his own goal mouth. And now Otorubio from Clemson University. They won the national championship with a 2-1 victory over Indiana. He moves forward, sending it outside, but he has to gather it back in. Knocked back to him by number 10, Gilbert Perez from North Texas State, making his first appearance of the game.
West with the lead, intent with a slow build-up in the back, then have someone break loose up front.
Perez has it deflected out of bounds, belongs to the West. His long throw in for Stallings, Leslie Farr all over his back, and now the call goes against the West because he threw it in out of bounds. That's unlikely to happen again.
This is Gilbert Perez player, Kevin. Very good. He played his collegiate soccer at North Texas State University. I saw him play last year in St. Louis. His team won the United States Amateur Cup. A lot of great soccer being played in the Dallas, Texas area.
Terry Blanson out of San Francisco to throw it in. Plays for Steve Negoesco, and now it's not a throw-in. It is a foul call, and Blanson, a long, high ball coming down goalward. A nice job by Whitcraft to punch it out of there. And it is saved momentarily, but they say it went across the sideline, and McCluskey did not save it, and now Moreland will have the throw-in. The West bench, they lead it 1-0 here in the early moments of the second half. Long throw-in from Moreland, and it's fielded by Whitcraft, and who's right on him? Radwanski again.
And now Radwanski will get back and get involved in defense. Good work early on here in the second half, Kevin, by the new keeper. That man there, David Whitcraft, showing that he's very alert, very keen to the action going on around him.
Long boot all the way downfield over the head of Vernon. Otorubio there to take Monteiro off the ball nicely. Amir Ali, who has not been that available and has not seen the ball all that much. Here's Leslie Farr. Here's Stallings from behind, nearly taking it away. That burst of speed again. He is so quick. Now he has the ball. Watch him go with it now. He sends it outside to DiBernardo. Paul DiBernardo with a long cross for Moreland. What a ball from DiBernardo. Moreland moving forward.
Well, that was a lovely ball from DiBernardo, Kevin, to with one pass immediately change the flow of the attack.
Radwanski sends it way outside. Perez moves around Vernon. Perez still with the ball, lays it for DiBernardo.
The West now, Kevin, just stroking the ball about at their leisure.
Otorubio for Radwanski, sending it back to Adati. Adati working against Monteiro. Adati with a long pass coming down, and it's headed away by Perez, and now McCluskey for the East has it.
It was a nice job by McCluskey there, Kevin, to chest it down and slow things down. That's what his coach, Thomas Martin, wants him to do, slow the play down.
D'Annunzio sends it to midfield, but the West intercepting with Otorubio again.
Just when the East starts some nice attacking and some build-up and some possession work of their own, Kevin, they immediately give it away.
Adati at midfield for the West. 38 minutes left in this game. 1-0 the West. And they've controlled the second half action. Perez on the far side. Down the sideline for DiBernardo, and he is fouled from behind.
There's a new dimension to college soccer too, Kevin, and for international soccer for that matter. The striker showing up for the wing fullback, and the wing fullback getting involved in the attack as if his job is to be an attacking player. It can be so devastating when they run on the back like that.
DiBernardo crossing it, but McCluskey knocks it out of there. A looping pass for DiBernardo, and DiBernardo controls a long pass for Stallings, but it's knocked out by McCluskey. Didn't quite get that pass high enough, Bill.
No, he didn't. He was trying to hit it to the far post, Kevin. Rob Moreland, again, was overlapping from left back, trying to go into the open space at the far post.
Bill Stallings bothering the goalkeeper momentarily, but the East able to move it forward. And here they come with D'Annunzio. His chip down the far side. Ontorubio hustles over there, knocks a player down. Vernon gets back up, pushes one more off. He's still got the ball. The shot deflected wide. I'll give credit physically to Vernon. Jay Miller looking on, but Vernon with an individual effort that surpassed by none.
That really was, Kevin. Good work there by number 10, Brian Vernon, senior from University of Virginia. Here he is again, not giving up in the play at all. Going right at the last defender. He beat out Robio, then went right past Albert Haddadi, two most feared defenders on the West squad, and nearly deflected this ball into the far post, but hard running by Brian Vernon.
Amir Ali with a corner kick, a high drive, clears the goal mouth. Perez chases over, so does D'Annunzio, and he keeps it alive. D'Annunzio working on Perez, two players who saw little action in the first half, and Perez wins that battle.
That's a nice corner kick by number 4, Amir Ali, on that particular play, Kevin, because he flights it all the way to the far post. All the congestion at the near post and at the penalty spot. The overlapping left back can run onto that ball.
Long throw in from Vernon, up high in front, loose ball, and Sean Burke slides out to cover right in front of the on-rushing Monteiro.
You may think that Sean Burke is an agile, Kevin. You notice how quickly he got down on that ball.
That was the interesting comment I found from both coaches before the game. Bill, we were down there talking with them. Both very calm, very relaxed. And Tom Martin, of course, from the East, he was more lavish, I think, in his praise than anything else of Sean Burke. And the fact that he's not just good in the air, that he's equally adept when he gets down low on some low shots, and you saw him that time slide down. Omar Breton ahead for Vernon, but he's knocked down by Haddadi. I think their feet got tangled more than anything else. And not a foul called, so it belongs to the West. 36 minutes left in this one. 1-0 the West on a goal by Radwanski in the first half. Ontorubio, long pass downfield. Here's DiBernardo. I like to watch him work.
And he could really ignite your attack, Kevin. Number 5, Paul DiBernardo. Very good at taking on players one-on-one, and as a valuable forward will always do, get into open space when you do not have the ball. That's just as important a job that you have to perform. Not only when you have the ball, but away from the ball. Get into some opening space.
DiBernardo and Bill Stallings, teammates now on the forward line of the West, very nearly teammates at Indiana University, but SIU Edwardsville won the recruiting battle for Stallings. He went there instead of Indiana. But he came right down to the wire. Sean Burke, 6'6". Maybe he's introducing a new level of play, should I say, into soccer. 6'6". I tell you, get a nosebleed looking up at the top of his head. He's a big guy and very agile, quick as a cat in the goal mouth. And as you can see, a lot of power in that right foot. Too far for Bill Stallings. Leslie Farr has it knocked away by Stallings. He controls it for Radwanski. But it's now controlled by the Easton Omer Breton. Breton on the far side. Intercepted by Radwanski, but he lost it back to D'Annunzio. D'Annunzio up ahead. Stallings trying to intercept on the far side, but the East controlling out of their own end. DiBernardo pressuring. The East still controls. Now they send it out wide. That'll go over the sideline. So some great pressure from Stallings and DiBernardo along with Radwanski, and that forced a turnover in the East's own end.
Exactly, Kevin. High pressure caused the giveaway in the back.
Jones living in Progadegby. Okudo now back to Rob Moreland. And a foul goes against Amir Ali.
Here's Rob Moreland getting possession, Kevin, and then using his body, putting his body in between Amir Ali and the ball, and the foul whistled up.
Adati for the West lays it for Calvin Jones. A high shot, and it's well high of the net. 34 minutes left. The West bench looking on. They hold a 1-0 lead in this contest. The goal scored by Radwanski. If he could give 2 assists out in this game, Bill Stallings would have gotten 1. As it is, Miller got the assist. And Radwanski the conversion as they take the 1-0 lead late in the first half. Whitcraft with a long boot to midfield. Knocked away by Perez, who's played well since he's been in there. The East now on the far side with D'Annunzio. D'Annunzio still has it. Robert D'Annunzio out of Buffalo State College, a Division II school. Stallings gets it for Radwanski, but a fine play by Martin Hayes out of Providence College. And there is Hayes again getting it to Brian Vernon. Boy, that pass from Stallings to Radwanski had danger written all over it had Radwanski been able to keep control.
He is so quick, Kevin. He has that instantaneous explosion. That's the key what coaches look for. From a dead stop, 1, 2, 3 touches of the ball, boom, then that sudden explosion. He was off the races, but good sliding tackle out of the back from Martin Hayes.
Long lead pass on the near side, intercepted by Otarubio. One of the things they tell me the Stallings kid can do so well is play indoors, and that is where a lot of the scouts have come from tonight, is for that indoor game. I wonder, Bill, how can they compare this outdoor game? Can they see the indoor instincts?
Somewhat, Kevin, but not a great deal. Indoor is so much different than outdoors. Outdoors, you have so much more space and more time. Indoor, your ball skills have to really be developed, and you have to be able to make quick, split-second decisions because almost everything is done at high speed.
Here's Stallings racing in, and he nearly had himself a goal. We keep talking about that burst of speed from him, which is certainly to the benefit in an indoor game, and here's another look at it.
Here he is, Bill Stallings, number 13, the senior from SIU Evansville, running on to this ball. Almost misplayed by number 17, Leslie Farr, trying to knock it back to his keeper, David Whitcraft, and that's all a mistake of quick forward needs.
Here's a mistake in the west end, and Sean Burke well out of his goal mouth to prevent Brian Vernon from getting a hold of it. Well, they nearly headed it into their own goal mouth. Moreland with a low pass. That's intercepted by Sean Fryatt. Now McCluskey makes a nice move around his man, Okpodu. McCluskey still in command. Slides it ahead, but nobody there to receive the pass, and Monterrubio starts back the other way.
Monterrubio always there, Kevin, the sweeper, the last line of defense. Anything that gets through that last line of defense, he's there to sweep it up.
Outside on the far side for Perez, Gilbert Perez. North Texas State University.
And you'll notice, Kevin, that what a gifted sweeper Otarubio is, because a lot of times when the ball eludes the last line of defense, it's in a helter-skelter fashion and forwards running onto it. Well, he has some composure in the back, slows the play down immediately.
Long goal kick coming down. Stallings up high. Leslie Farr, and he fouls Stallings. It belongs to the West.
Set it up! Tom Martin not in agreement with that particular call, but nonetheless, the referee made it. He's in charge. We'll play on.
Our referee, Bob Heilman, and the linesmen, Bob Finney and Frank Jewell. Finney, the senior linesman, Jewell, the junior linesman. 1-0, the West. 30 minutes left in this one. And in danger of scoring again are the West.
Number 2, Otarubio scored from almost the same position when they beat UCLA in the NCAA quarterfinals.
This time he goes outside and gets it to Okpodu. Okpodu takes his man on. Brian Vernon, now his cross intercepted by McCluskey. And the East back the other way. A long lead pass by McCluskey, but Otarubio is there. He gets it to DiBernardo. Boy, wouldn't you like to have a guy like Otarubio as your last man back? Here's Calvin Jones. Well, he's something else.
He is, Kevin. He sweeps up so effectively, and in the process, when he clears it out of the back, they always keep possession.
The offside called against the West. And the East in possession. Here's McCluskey. Radwanski on him. McCluskey gets it to Brian Vernon. A pair of 10s on the far side. And Perez with a fine tackle. Takes it away, but it's called for the foul.
Looked to be a clean sliding tackle to me. Kevin played the ball all the way.
And came away with it, but nonetheless victimized by the call on the far side by Bob Heilman. So Amir Ali will put it in play for the East. 29 minutes left. Long looping ball coming down in front, but Sean Burke is there to field it with his security charm there. Monterrubio. Here comes Okpodu. Here is a sprint against Omar Breton. Okpodu winning it with the ball. Still has it. Goes across the sideline and is finally called. But in a battle of sprints, he won it, and he controlled the ball all the way. 28.5 minutes left here in the ball game. 1-0, the West in the lead.
With the games you don't want to miss.
I'm John Riggins, and as much as I love playing football, my first love has always been the great outdoors. And the folks who publish Field and Stream, American sportsman's favorite magazine, know exactly how I feel. That's why I've been a loyal reader for years. Every issue is jam-packed with meat and potatoes articles on hunting and fishing, like the times of the year and the places that should be best in your area. And that's not all. You also get the inside information. Tips and ideas on guns and fishing rods, bass and bull elk, ballistics, to the best way to bait a hook. Now you can have 12 issues of Field and Stream, a year's subscription for only $7.94. Field and Stream is the hunting and fishing magazine for me, and it should be for you. Give it a try.
To subscribe to Field and Stream, call toll-free 1-800-453-6606. That's 1-800-453-6606. You get 12 issues for only $7.94. So call now, 1-800-453-6606.
Back here to the action here in Tampa, Florida. Kevin Slayton and Bill McDermott. Omer Breton losing it over the sideline, and it will belong to the West. He and Okpodu having a one-on-one battle over there.
The speed of number 3, Sam Okpodu, Kevin, is really incredible to watch. Something that is not coachable. Dead Barnes, and you continue to work on it with your ball skills. When you develop both of them, you can be a devastating forward, and he certainly is.
Redwensky is going to be the trigger man unless Okpodu takes it. Okpodu is going to. A long crossing pass up high. Leslie Farr heads it out of there. Kept alive by Blanson. Ali loses it. Here's Redwensky again. Redwensky's going to drill it goalward. Oh, a great save that time by Whitcraft. But how about Redwensky?
This Redwensky is pure and simple, the midfield general for the West Squad. Look at this, Kevin. Here's a very powerful shot at the near post. He looked up, he immediately saw the chance, he had some space, and nearly beat that keeper at the near post. Great work by Redwensky.
That ball was in the goal, but it was a fine save by Whitcraft. Ali deflects the corner kick over the inline.
If you want a definition of midfield play, you're getting it from number 7, Eddie Redwensky. He shows up, he makes himself available, he attacks, he gets back on defense, he plays balls into open spaces for his teammates. That is the epitome of a midfield player.
That ball deflected over the inline by the West. It will belong to the East. Whitcraft with 26.5 minutes puts it back in play for the East, and they have not pressed the attack in the second half at all. In fact, Burke has had little to do in the goal, and here comes Redwensky back the other way for Stallings, but it's intercepted by Farr. One of the few mistakes Redwensky has made all night long.
It is a rare giveaway.
Farr has it. Stallings dogging him. Here's Calvin Jones intercepting. He gets it to DiBernardo. Paul DiBernardo out of Indiana. The two-time defending national champs, unseated this year by Clemson. Stallings and Farr colliding. The East coming away with it now. DiBernardo and D'Annunzio battling, and D'Annunzio has it.
Nice job there by D'Annunzio to get back, up on defense, then knock it back to his sweeper back to start the attack.
Bill, we watched this game played on such a beautiful surface, on such a gorgeous evening, in a beautiful facility here at the University of Tampa. A lot of superlatives in there. But yet, my point is, why play the national championship in a 60,000-seat stadium with artificial turf when you have facilities like this available?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I just knew you were going to ask me that. And
you were
I have
waiting
no
for
answer.
it to come.
I have no answer to your question. It stupefies me.
And the action on stupid. Because there's just not a reason for it. You have the two best teams in the country doing battle, and it's a shame that they have to play on an artificial surface. So hopefully someone will take heed.
That's the real key, Kevin. You have to play a game of that nature on real grass. It's as simple as that.
Anyone who saw the game saw the difference in the way the ball moves, the ball slides, the ball bounces, as opposed to what it's been doing tonight. You can do so much more with it on grass. Brian Vernon moving in. That ball was more dangerous than I had thought. As the East giving it a go down close inside, and Vernon has been a dangerous offensive player for the East all night.
He really has. The senior striker from Virginia shoots the ball at the last moment, and it's deflected by Otorobio, and Sean Burke has to cover up at that near post. So Brian Vernon showing some good burst of speed.
So Amir Ali will put it in play, the Herman Trophy winner out of Columbia. A lot of the finalists for that trophy in action tonight, among them Bill Stallings out of SIU, headed out of there by Adati. Here's DiBernardo. He and Stallings head upfield. Kelvin Jones, the trailer. DiBernardo trying to go around the defender on the far side, David Macer, but he knocked it out of bounds. Certainly belongs to the West. I don't know who Macer was kidding.
But he did his job, Kevin. He immediately got back, goal side, and marked up on DiBernardo. Did not allow him to take him on one-on-one.
Well, if you ever get to Tampa, make sure you stop by this facility, because it's one of the finest there is in the nation. It brings to mind the University of Indiana's soccer facility. Jerry Yeagley doing such a great job there. But I don't know of any other ones that rival this one.
It's lovely, Kevin. It's a tremendous facility. In particular, surface of the field. It's really lovely.
Here's Redwensky at midfield for the West. Bothered from behind by Monteiro. Did a good job of shielding. Gets it to Stallings. Nice pass for DiBernardo. Didn't see it coming.
I'll tell you, Kevin, you're talking about excellent facilities and surfaces around the United States. The recently completed St. Louis Soccer Park has really started to take hold, in particular their main field. And that's what they're looking for at the St. Louis Soccer Park, to have a main field where they can break big games such as this.
And I think we'll be seeing something of that sort at the St. Louis Soccer Park in the near future. Probably as fine a field condition, and when you talk about just the field, as there is in the country.
And it has ideal dimensions, Kevin. It's about 110 yards long by about 74 yards wide. Plenty of space.
And the home of the St. Louis University Billikens. David Fernandez representing St. Louis University in this battle, playing for the West.
There you saw Dowdy looking up, having no options to go forward. Just knock it back to Otorobio and restart the attack.
The East intercepting with Martin Hayes, and he just taps it back to Whitcraft. 22.5 minutes remaining. The West on top, 1-0 on a goal by Redwensky. And they've made that stand up, especially here in the second half. Here's Monteiro, but there's Otorobio. I'm telling you, this guy is effective.
Now watch what he does with the ball, Kevin. Looks up, diagnoses all his situations, and in this, I'm about to say something good about
gives it away.
Gives the ball away.
Now he intercepts, though, the mark of a good player. Goes right back to take it away. Jones getting it to DiBernardo. You won't see two smaller guys passing the ball back and forth there. And a timeout on the field with 22:07 remaining in regulation time. The West leading the East 1-0.
This Bud's for everyone who keeps things rolling on the mighty Mississippi.
Breakaway bars, please respond.
Let's get him.
We're right below here and we're on our way out.
I'll come around on the port side bumper there.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do, this Bud's for you.
We are back here at Tampa, Florida. 22 minutes left in this game. 1-0 the West, as Monteiro apparently has a bloody nose and he gets up. I didn't see the contact. Bill Otorobio took the ball away, but apparently he threw an elbow while he was at it. Didn't get called for the foul, so it didn't appear very serious. But he's going to play.
Yes, he is. Continues in the action. Pair number 2 is doing battle, Kevin. I didn't see the play, but Otorobio is so effective in the back. He does things so quickly. It's difficult to
I saw the play, but I didn't see any contact.
No?
That's how smooth he is. He'll draw blood, and you won't even know it, unless you're the one who he's drawing it from. Adati, along with McCluskey right there at midfield. They battle for the drop ball, and it's now controlled in the air by the West by virtue of the foul against Leslie Farr. Very tall, rangy back for the East, but a very physical player also, as you take a look at Omer Breton on the sideline for the East.
And Leslie Farr, a very gifted back, Kevin. He's a hard, rugged tackler. Played for the Jamaican national team.
Otorobio with a quick flick for DiBernardo. DiBernardo has to hustle, gets it over for Moreland, but it's going to go across the sideline. Belongs to the East, and Sean Fryatt quickly ahead for Monteiro.
Good attacking nonetheless on his left flank by the left back, Rob Moreland from UNLV.
McCluskey, excuse me, Bill. McCluskey getting it across to Myron. Eric Myron on the far side for the East. But there's Ontorubio. You got to get the ball higher than that, or he'll knock every one of them out of there. I would think you'd play the far post every time with him back there and just boot it as far as you can, because otherwise he'll run it down.
Either that, Kevin, or you have to try to attempt to beat him with high-speed 1-2s and keeping the balls and the open spaces away from him. Because if you go right at him, plain and simple, you're not going to get around him.
Here's a ball misplayed in their own end by the East, and that will result in a corner kick for the West. And a good scoring opportunity with 20.5 minutes left in the game. 1-0, the West in the lead.
Going over to flight the corner kick. Number 5, Paul DiBernardo, will no doubt flight this with the inside of his left foot and spin it inwards towards the goal mouth. Angelo DiBernardo, his brother, who now plays with the New York Cosmos, a mainstay on the United States national side. He's played in his Senior Bowl. He was a Farmer Herman Award Trophy winner.
His cross for Stallings, a little bit too high, and Leslie Farr with that long, rangy frame getting way up high. DiBernardo from North Riverside, Illinois, and that's California, as we saw in the graphic a moment ago. I'm sure we're going to say hello to the home folks in Illinois.
The DiBernardo family, 2 excellent players.
Rob Moreland tapping it back for Ontorubio.
We talk about that man, number 2, Ontorubio, Kevin. His counterpart, on the other side, Leslie Farr. He's a rugged defender, too. He really clears balls out of the back with urgency, and he means it when he comes in for 50-50 balls on tackles.
He's done a good job out of West Virginia Wesleyan, from where the head coach of the East Side is also from, Tom Martin. They won the NAIA championship this year, and I can see why with a guy like Farr. You're not going to score too many goals against his team.
When you're strong up the middle, Kevin, but that I mean a keeper, a center back, strong midfield, and a striker, you could be very powerful.
This time Farr a little bit too aggressive with Bill Stallings, and he knocks him down, and that'll be the foul call.
Bill Stallings, no stranger to taking that kind of treatment, Kevin. That's how he plays for SIU Evansville, a target man or a striker. And when you play like that, you have players on your back.
And he was virtually all the Cougars had this year, and he still managed to score 14 goals for them when every team in the world knew that he was their only threat. They really had some disappointing performances this year from some players. They were thought to have an excellent recruiting class 4 years ago, and it just did not develop over there, with the exception of Bill Stallings.
And I'll tell you another player for SIU Evansville who had an exceptional year. That was Chris Hundelt, sweeper back for the Cougars. Just really does a nice job of starting plays in the back. He combines with Bill Stallings very nicely.
One of the finest players in the country, Chris Hundelt. He's not here because he's not a senior in eligibility, I don't believe. He still has a year because he played with the national team. Here's a header, and they score! Miller gets the goal! Well, it appeared that Whitcraft was asleep at the switch on that one, Bill, because the ball was not headed with all that much authority. But Miller, nonetheless, pounds it home. And he accepts his teammates' congratulations, a 2-0 lead.
Here's the corner kick by Nathaniel Ogadegbe, the senior from Alabama A&M. And heading up at the near post, influential in the scoring again, number 12, Pat Miller from UCLA. It didn't seem to be that dangerous situation, Kevin, but nonetheless, it's 2-0 now for the West. That man there, number 12, Pat Miller scoring.
Well, it looked like Kieran Coffey and Whitcraft decided on one of those I'll take it, you got it plays, and neither one of them stopped it, and it went in, untouched.
Because it did not have that much power on it, Kevin.
2-0 lead now for the West. Isaacs now for the East. And it goes over the sideline, still belongs to the East. Inside they go to Fryatt. Fryatt trying to split the last line of defense. Did he save it? No, he did not. It'll be a corner kick. Good effort from the goalkeeper, Sean Burke, but he couldn't save it. There is a look at the ankle of one of the West players. DiBernardo next to him. Appeared to be Okpodu, who has the ankle in ice. Long cross on the corner kick. Farr can't get high enough. So I would doubt that we'd see Okpodu anytime soon with that left ankle wrapped in ice.
Unless he makes a miraculous recovery.
And I mean miraculous. Ontorubio heading it out of there. Miller gets it outside. And here comes Ogadegbe. He's knocked down, and it'll go against the East. Dottie now moving forward for the West. Here is Miller, who scored a moment ago. 16 minutes left in the game. Moving forward again. Knocked over the sideline. We'll be back with more of the Senior Bowl. 2-0, the West in the lead.
Here's New L.A., brewed for all the great taste you've come to expect from Anheuser-Busch.
You've shaped this world and changed it, made it better, rearranged it in the way you think and what you drink and everything you do.
Taste L.A. for smoothness, drinkability, and just half the alcohol of our regular beers.
For the way you live your life today. For the way you live today, L.A. For the way you live, L.A.
Taste it.
Back here in Tampa, Florida, Kevin Slayton and Bill McDermott, glad you could join us for the Senior Bowl. David Fernandez on for the West, and he knocks it inside. It's cleared out of there, but Adati keeps it alive for the West. Nice move around McCluskey. Gets it to Ogadegby, and now they lose control. Kelvin Jones has it. Outside on the left wing, and it's offside against the West.
Jay Miller from the University of Tampa. Not so nervously pacing his sideline as his team's up by a score of 2-0.
With just under 16 minutes remaining, Kelvin Jones knocks it away from Isaacs, but it goes over the sideline and it'll belong to the East. Good crowd on hand here in Tampa. Bill Stallings of the West looking on us. Looking forward to an MISL indoor soccer career. And with all of the speed and the shot that's powerful, one would certainly suspect that he will be there. And we'll be televising him next year, perhaps, on our MISL games. Hope you've enjoyed those telecasts recently because they've been exciting.
Well, we've had some great games, haven't we, Kevin? One of the problems, though, these seniors really run into, Kevin, is due to the already glutted pro market and some of the gifted seniors who just graduated last year who haven't really broken into any of the teams, and the uncertainty of the future of the NASL. There's so many players for so few jobs, so that will indeed be a problem.
The West controlling once more. That'll be something to look for and see what happens. Ogadegby, nice move at midfield, gets it to Redwensky. Redwensky has it stolen away from behind by Rafferty, but the West controlling. Fernandez lays it off for Calvin Jones. Here's Redwensky. Boy, nice pass work from the West.
Oh, some beautiful stuff by the West. All done at top speed, Kevin, and everything right at their teammates' feet.
Now they give it away, but the West gets it back with Ontarubio on the far side for Perez.
This Ogadegby starts these attacks at midfield, Kevin, and everybody starts to move.
Terry Blanchon. What a player he's been for Steve Negoesco at San Francisco.
They're playing some great soccer on the West Coast lately, Kevin. In particular, next year, look for a fine UCLA squad. They missed two players this year, Paul Galligari and Jeff Hooker, due to academic problems coming from the Olympic team. They didn't have enough schooling, so they had to lay off the squad this year, along with a very talented, one of the finest players I've seen this year, Dale Irvine. So UCLA will indeed be a team to be reckoned with next year.
That Irvine is such a smooth midfielder. You don't even know he's out there, but bing, bing, he hurts you twice, and then you wake up.
And similar to Eddie Redwensky tonight, absolutely doing everything called upon from a midfielder.
Blanchon now for the West. Gets it to Miller. He's taken down, and I mean physically, by Martin Hayes out of Providence College. David Fernandez ahead for Kelvin Jones, but it's too far. And Kieran Coffey out of Connecticut able to tap it back to his goalkeeper, David Whitcraft. Each goalkeeper for the East victimized, once in the first half, once in the second. 2-0 the West with 13 minutes remaining in this one. The 13th Adidas Budweiser Senior Soccer Bowl, and we're very happy to bring it to you. The East moving forward, and we've got a whistle and a foul as Myron just kept penetrating. Nobody could stop him. Finally, Ogadegby knocked him off the ball and did it physically and drew the whistle. Amir Ali in front to Myron, a blast, but he hit it wide, and I believe Burke got a hand on it. We'll wait and see. If he didn't, it'll belong to the West. And now they say he missed it, so the West will have possession.
Here he is at the near post, Kevin. And the end result, just barely wide of that near post. Good job by the keeper. Nonetheless, Sean Burke to cover up at that near post. He came off immediately, saw the danger, Cut off the angle. Good work by Eric Myron, who has been playing very well in the first quarter.
East trying to get back into it. They need a couple of goals. Perez stealing it on the far side. A correction on that injury for the West. It's Dennis Echo is the injured player out of Wilmington College, and not October, whom we told you earlier. So the ankle injury goes to Echo. The East controlling down in front of the West goal mouth, and they're putting the pressure on now. Myron circling around on the far side, trying to take Redwinski on one-on-one. A whistle and a foul against Redwinski.
Danny Redwinski questioning that call. Looked to be a clean takeaway. But nonetheless, East will have a free kick from a dangerous position because that man, number 4, Amir Ali, is the master of the dead ball for the East squad. Very good in these situations.
11.5 minutes left. They trail by 2. This is a good time to get on the board. Up high goes Fryatt, but it's over his head, and it is kept alive by Rafferty. Nice job. Long cross, too far over the end line, and it belongs to the West. So Tom Rafferty out of Loyola of Maryland trying to keep it alive. Did a good job, but just simply couldn't keep it in play.
Good job by Amir Ali to bend that ball, Kevin, in midair. Get over the heads of all the defenders to the far post where he had teammates running onto it.
So the West controlling with under 11 minutes left, and they have a 2-0 lead, and I mean in control. Largely because of that man who just ran out of your picture, number 2, Antarubio. Adubari Antarubio out of Clemson University, a senior, playing in his final collegiate game, as are all of these players. And in his final game in the Clemson Orange, he was instrumental in their 2-1 victory over Indiana for the national championship. Fernandez with some great ball work on the far side. In front, oh, they hit it wide with Okpodu. Fernandez made it all possible on the far side.
Some good work between David Fernandez and Eddie Redwinski. Again, the play developed at top speed. Here it is again. Number 7, Eddie Redwinski, running on to this pass from number 6, David Fernandez, who chested the ball down very nicely, and an over-the-head kick, but a foul was whistled up on the play on Redwinski.
Sam Okpodu, so dangerous out of North Carolina State, the Wolfpack. That ACC is producing some fine talent. Here comes the East. McCluskey ahead for Isaacs. Isaacs working on the near side. A nice play by Blanson to knock it away. So the East controls. Isaacs with the throw-in. Fryatt sending it back for Amir Ali. Loses it to Calvin Jones. Returns it for Miller. He's got a lot of room on the near side. Pat Miller. A long pass ahead for Fernandez. Fernandez racing in, but the goalkeeper, Whitcraft, climbing the ladder to make the play.
David Whitcraft coming off his line to make the save, Kevin, but you always take a chance when you let the ball bounce in your area like that.
Here they come again. Miller again with all kinds of room. Looks for someone to pass to. Leaves it on the near side for Al Smith. His low cross in front. Redwinski fanned on it. Either he fanned on it or it was behind him. One of the two. Now the low drive by Ognabegui, and he can't hit it on goal.
I'll tell you, Kevin, I think Redwinski ran onto that ball and intentionally ran past it because he was in a bad position to shoot. He let it go for one of his teammates. Nicely designed play by the West there.
Nobody was there to read his intentions. Amir Ali now at midfield for the East. Sending it wide for Fryatt. The return pass from McCluskey in front. And Romano took a piece of McCluskey with him on that play. McCluskey hits the deck, and Romano goes to make sure he's all right. But doesn't stay long, does he? And now the whistle will stop play because McCluskey has not gotten up down near the West goal mouth. 8 minutes, 11 seconds remain from Tampa in the Senior Bowl. 2-0 the West.
The Buckeye backcourt is loaded, featuring trigger guards Troy Taylor and Ron Stokes. They've played together since high school, sticking the J, frustrating opponents with speed, quickness, and sticky defense. Thursday night on Sports Time, Stokes and Taylor lead Ohio State against Tennessee Chattanooga, and all the action is live on Sports Time. Ohio State tunes up for the Big Ten Wars against underrated Tennessee Chattanooga. Thursday night, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, live here on Sports Time.
Back to the action in Tampa, Florida. Kevin Slayton along with Bill McDermott, and we've got a 2-0 lead for the West in the Senior Bowl here in Tampa. High, long pass. Here's McCluskey back in, but when you do that with a 6'6" goalkeeper, forget about it. Long boot downfield for Fernandez. He cannot control it. Macer beats him to it and flips it back to Whitcraft. That's how quick he can strike when you got a right foot like Sean Burks. Here's McCluskey with a lot of room in midfield.
Exactly right, Kevin. He came off his line, made the save. Like you said, forget about it. When you fly a long ball like that against a keeper at that height, then he immediately sent Fernandez long one-on-one with the last man back.
Here's Pat Miller now. He works around the defender. Miller cruising in, but he didn't get much on it in front. Loose ball. Cleared momentarily. Ogadegbe sends it back for Calvin Jones, and Whitcraft makes the save.
Great diagonal ball by Nathaniel Ogadegbe. He had no angle from which to shoot, Kevin. He had teammates who could run onto it. Good thinking, good quick thinking by Nathaniel Ogadegbe.
Here comes the East counterattacking in a hurry. Rafferty with a long drive, but it's high of the mark. A lot of action in front of each goal mouth. There's the East bench. A little bit disconsolate, trailing by 2 with 7 minutes left in the game. And Isaac's looking on.
As we mentioned, Kevin, earlier on, the West holds a 7-5 advantage. They were victorious last year at Las Vegas by a score of 4-0. And I think Tom Martin, the coach from the East, Kevin, has to be happy as he looks on at the action. Momentarily delayed by an injured player, but I think he has to be happy, Kevin. His squad's played quite respectably.
Well, there's a look at the job that he has done. 21-2 this year. And the coach of the national NAIA soccer champions, Tom Martin. Very professorial on the sidelines, but he'll get you going.
Oh, yeah. He's a great motivator, and he played some very difficult teams on his schedule, Kevin. 2 teams in the top 20. So he didn't shy away from anyone.
Burke and Ontarrubio playing down in the backfield. They just want to kill the final 6½ minutes, 2-0 the West. Everybody clearing away from Burke. Look at the foot on this kid, would you? All the way down to Miller, heading it forward, but nobody there, and Whitcraft fields it. He gives you instant scoring potential with that right foot.
What a clearance out of the back, and a nice job by number 12, Pat Miller, to flick that ball on. An instantaneous attack, if you will.
He makes it happen, and happen in a hurry. Kieran Coffey for the East, sending it upfield, but who's there? Ontarrubio. If you got paid by the touch, of course he's not paid this year until he turns pro, but when he gets paid by the touch of the ball, he'd be a millionaire. He's all over the ball.
He really marshals the defense nicely, Kevin. Goes to the site of the danger and does it quickly.
Macer moving forward for the East now. A long ball headed downfield for Ferruzia. Nobody could get a piece of it, and it went over the end line. That was a dangerous effort there, and they nearly made Sean Burke come alive and get tested in goal. Here's another look.
Nicely flighted ball by David Macer to the far post. And just eluding number 13, Mike Ferruggia, but nonetheless a good ball by David Macer.
5 minutes remaining in the 13th annual Senior Bowl. Ontarrubio out of his own end. Oh, a dangerous pass back, and Ferruggia nearly intercepted it. One of the few times Ontarrubio has been held to task. But he knew what he was doing. Burke with that, look at the throwing ability of this kid. Right to DiBernardo at midfield, and now the foul against Martin Hayes.
That's right, Kevin. Right to DiBernardo. That was the key to it. It was a ball that he could easily handle and lay off to a teammate.
The West in possession. Ogadegbe with 2 defenders, and it comes away with the East, but an interception by Al Smith. Did a nice job to take it away from Ferruggia. And now Perez on the far side works his way around Myron at midfield, headmans it for Fernandez too far, and Rafferty knocks it away. 4 minutes left.
The West, Kevin, does such a nice job of winning the ball in the back, then slowing down, making sure that they have a chance to go forward. They don't just immediately run helter-skelter forward. They slow it down and wait till they have a good chance of going forward.
Long lead pass for Sean Fryatt. Romano over there, and he does the job defensively. So the West will take control with 3.5 minutes left. Sean Burke in goal along with Eric Koch. Impenetrable tonight. Giving assist to Adubare Ontorubio, who's done spectacular work defensively for the West. And here is Okpodu up front. Okpodu with a pass to Miller outside for Al Smith. On a nice job, very good job defensively by Martin Hayes to take it away and quell that momentary burst by the West.
Good tackling in the back by Martin Hayes.
McCluskey with a long pass and well too long. He intended that for Sean Pryatt, but he was only about 30 yards off.
Too long, a better pass, Kevin, on those particular plays when you're going forward is to hit a diagonal ball to your onrushing wingman or lay it off at the near post so they can run onto it.
East trying to press the attack, and they need a couple, so they'd have to score quickly. McCluskey leaving it outside, but Otorubio intercepted, and he's got some room. Watch him go now, out of the backfield. Adubare Otorubio sending it upfield for Okpodu, and now they knock into each other, Ogabegbe, and here comes Miller. Oh, my goodness. Banana foot, they call that in the schoolyards. What an opportunity for Miller.
Really high.
Driving like the dream and the drive so free. Gonna hard road, nobody cares. If you hit the brakes, you got to be there. Keep it in gear, one step, that's all it takes. You gotta keep those wheels on the straight and narrow. If you wanna survive.
Better stuff to listen to up here than that.
Like what?
Like what? Well, besides the birds and the bees and the babbling brooks, you got the moose calls, you got the cry of the coyote, the wind whistling through the pines, beavers slapping their little flat tails on top of the flat water. Pure poetry.
This is pure poetry, Judge. Creedence Clearwater. Huh?
Oh, yeah? I thought Sonny Bono was your favorite poet.
Hey. And now for another reading from To Build a Fire by Jack London.
I don't know why you fight me on this, McCormick. Anybody would jump at this. 2 weeks in the outback of Oregon is a chance of a lifetime.
Oh, Judge, the chance of a lifetime was the trip we had planned to Hawaii. 2 weeks at the Kalala Hilton. 2 weeks of room service and luau's.
Yeah, and Don Ho and the old guys with the skinny white legs doing the hula. Hey, I'm gonna show you America, kid. Wait till you track your first beaver.
Whoa, thought he was a nightmare. Lord,
okay. I can understand how a guy who's never been outside of the wilds of Jersey City is going to be a little bit overwhelmed by an expedition that's this ambitious. That's okay.
You know, you're starting to sound like Sir Edmund Hillary.
Hillary? That limey couldn't dig a latrine alongside of Daniel Boone and Jedediah Smith.
My bet is he's got it all over Hardcastle and McCormick like a pup tent.
Buzz,
Look at this. We're out in the middle of nowhere here, Judge.
Buzz Bird is the best mountain man I know.
Buzz Bird. Sounds like one of those traffic copter guys.
We've got a SIG alert on the 405 off-ramp. This is Buzz Bird, Chopper 5. Thank you.
Oh, yeah? Well, Buzz Bird just happens to be the best photojournalist in the world, see? This guy was taking pictures for Field and Stream and Argosy and Geo and Wildlife and Bear Hunters Annual before you were even born. And he's an old buddy, and he's going to retire. This is going to be his last expedition. He asked me to come along, so I asked him if you could come along, too, and he said, okay. So you're going to enjoy yourself whether you like it or not, see?
Bear Hunters Annual?
Grizzly bears, kid. Now, there is the proud beast. Just lives on raw wit and animal instinct. Huh?
Beat it! Get out of here! Get out of here! Get out of here, man! You know what I'm saying?
Forget it. I'm gonna try to get to that radio right there. Cover me, will you?
With what? What, I'm gonna throw a sock at him? Be careful, Travis. He sees you, Travis. Thank God! Hey, mister! Thank God! Oh, Lord. That's great. I have never seen anyone that brave in my life. Hey, mister, that bear was going to tear our heads off. Look, I'm Lester Smith. This here's my partner, Travis Baker. We're from Dallas, Texas. I don't believe we got your name.
I don't believe I offered him.
Well, listen, mister, we want to thank you very much. You from around these parts here?
What are you doing here?
We just came up here yesterday from Myrtle Creek. He's doing a little hiking, taking some pictures. Lester here's a real shutterbug.
Is that right, Lester? You a real shutterbug?
Well,
Myrtle Creek, 6 days away by Jeep. What kind of pictures, do you two take with these?
wait a minute, mister.
I'm gonna ask you one more time what you're doing here.
Hey, look, man, we don't want any trouble.
Hunting a bighorn is against the law.
Look here, mister. Why don't you just keep that rack and get $5,000 or $6,000 for it?
Where am I gonna get another bighorn? There are not many of them left. Run.
Run!
Not you.
Hey, look, I didn't have anything to do with that poaching. That was all Travis.
Babe.
Mr. Don.
Please.
Please don't.
I saw him either.
I hope he's okay, Judge. These mountains look pretty tricky.
Oh, you kidding? Buzz Bird is the best bush pilot alive, not to mention mountain man. The guy's 6'3". They can make a whole camp out of nothing but pine boughs and boondoggle. You know what he did? He went out in the woods one time, stayed 6 months living on nothing but roots and berries.
What for?
To see if he could do it.
How come I get the feeling that's him? That's him, isn't it, Judge? Buzz Bird, junk man of the mountain skies. Him. I know it's him.
Well, if it is, he's a little out of shape.
It's probably from picking out on all those roots and berries, you know.
Hey, Castle! You were holding us all over bad boot. How are you?
Buzz! How are you? Gee, I almost didn't recognize you.
I did, though, right off. Hi, Buzz. Mark McCormick.
So, it's that flatlander you want to bring along, huh, Milt?
Actually, I'm just dropping Milt off.
Nonsense. We better move. Let the plane motor cool down too much. It takes a day and a half to get her started.
Right, okay. Hey! Hey, McCormick! Yeah, bring your stuff there. Come Buzz, this thing's airworthy, isn't it?
Of course it is.
We'll clear the trees, right, Buzz?
Tried to tear down on this bird myself, not more than 2 years ago.
Buzz, this bird will make it over those trees, right?
Pulled the motor off an old Cessna.
Buzz.
Got the tail section off a Beechcraft.
Buzz.
And the wings off a old Bennett Bosker.
Buzz, the trees!
About the trees, Mark?
No, nothing.
Oh, that was nothing. Well, you see where I'm going to set this bird down? Film a herd of caribou feeding coming down the feed near Ford and Folly.
That's great, Buzz.
Yeah, I figured old Milt there, he wouldn't want to pull any light duty on this truck, so I'm going to set this baby down about 300 miles up from nowhere.
Hey, that's great.
300 miles up from nowhere. Now, there's the place I've always wanted to go.
Yeah, well, that's a great spot, Mark. Nothing but God's own, living off guts and wild grape.
Please. I don't know what you guys are trying to do. You guys just tell me. You want me to beg for my life, and I will. Please. Please.
You think you're beginning to feel like that bighorn sheep you killed?
You want I should kill him, Taylor?
No. No. You just learned something about staying alive. Let's see what you can do with it.
You okay, Buzz?
Buzz. Judge, what's wrong with you?
What's the matter, Buzz?
Buzz. Buzz, it's Jack. Buzz, give his heart. Give his heart. His heart. Buzz. Oh, grab the stick, Buzz. Will you grab the stick? Pull it up. Pull it up. Pull it up. Not that far up. Pulling up.
There's only one Super Bowl of cereal, and there's only one taste that makes it. The super taste of Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Just think of crispy golden flakes.
Delicious, crunchy flakes of corn.
So pure and simple, just can't wait.
Low in sugar, loaded with vitamins and iron.
So good for you, don't hesitate.
For a Super Bowl of our most nutritious corn flakes ever.
What a Super Bowl. Have yourself a Super Bowl. Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Super taste, super good. Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Just when it seemed we couldn't go any higher or make our batteries last any longer, we at Duracell topped ourselves. Introducing the new highly improved copper top battery. So improved it'll last up to 30% longer than any battery we've ever made. Once again, Duracell reaches a new height. Duracell, when it comes to making them last longer, we never stop.
Pontiac. That'll be young Jack up for the weekend. Probably driving that new Pontiac he was talking about getting. Prestige car. Young Jack? Nah, performance car. Baloney. Young hotshot like that want prestige. Your hat. Guy's a car nut. Performance. Prestige.
Got me a new Pontiac Grand Am, boys.
See? Told ya.
Tomorrow, it's the season premiere of Who's the Boss? Make a date with Tony Danza and Judith Light. It's a special moment as they discover they shared their first kiss.
If there was a kissing decathlon, she'd have won all 10 events.
Then, premiere week continues with Growing Pains. Meet a new family you'll love to laugh with.
These sweet kids.
I can kiss the kids later. The premiere start at 8, 7 Central tomorrow.
You'll love it.
Now, Buzz Bird was a good man, and I liked him. Everybody that knew him liked him. I guess he died out here the way he would have wanted to in the mountains. I just wish it wasn't so soon.
Well, what next?
You salvage anything out of that plane?
Nah. We're 300 miles up from nowhere, Judge. What are we going to do?
Well, we're going to try and stay alive, and then we're going to try and walk out of here.
I told you not to wear sneakers up here. Look at you in that T-shirt. You're going to freeze to death. You know that?
I'm sorry.
Oh, keep it up. Makes me feel like I'm at home. You're the lead scout, Wild Bill. Which way you want to go?
Well, Myrtle Creek's about 250 miles from here, and it's that way, which is southeast, I guess.
Which means if we make 20 miles a day, we'll starve to death 3 days before we get there.
No, we won't starve to death. We'll probably die of exposure.
Grace under pressure, Judge. That's wonderful. That's always been your strongest point, you know that? I'm not kidding now. You know, old Hardcastle.